So the good news is, I'm alive. Surprise! The bad news is my team left without me, which means I'm stuck here on Mars until a rescue mission can arrive. But hey, on the bright side, I've got Red Planet on DVD to watch. This is gonna be a while. And this is Movie Night. Hello and welcome to Movie Night. I'm your host, Jonathan Paula. Tonight we're traveling to the fourth rock from the sun to review some Mars movies. We'll begin with Mission to Mars. After its March 10th release in 2000, this sci-fi drama did slightly better than Break Even under the direction of acclaimed filmmaker Brian De Palma. When the first manned mission to Mars encounters a mysterious disaster, a rescue team is sent to investigate. Our cast of courageous astronauts is led by Gary Sinise in what feels a lot like a sequel to his role in Apollo 13. He's a soft-spoken optimist with a thirst for knowledge, and a perfect choice to star in the PG-rated movie. Recalling a quote from his late wife, he explains his purpose in life: to stand on a new world and look beyond it to the next one. Alongside him is Tim Robbins, Don Cheadle, Connie Nielsen, and Jerry O'Connell. This is a talented group of friendly astronauts who clearly care for one another, which makes the untimely demise of one of them resonate more effectively. De Palma is well known for his long takes that wind through a scene, and a 90-second shot showing off the massive spacecraft set is really something. It kicks off one of my favorite scenes in the movie, when Robbins and Nielsen share a fun and romantic zero-G dance to Van Halen's Dance the Night Away. There's something so cute and memorable about that moment that whenever I hear that rock classic, I think of this movie. But it's an EVA rescue attempt that is positively pulse-pounding in its simplicity and well-framed execution. The 113-minute film is paced well and stays believable with realistic science and techniques. The above-average visual effects don't hurt either.
Reset PW.
Set.
Transferred protocol data from EVA station.
Transferred. Awaiting track confirmation.
Spectrometeoroids. Kill those alarms!
Critical systems alert.
The unique turn the picture takes in the final act will either alienate audiences or captivate them. Mission to Mars is a particularly divisive movie for this reason, but I for one appreciate the ideas this picture explores, having rewatched it several times over the years. Composer Ennio Morricone mixes strings, trumpets, and even a choir for a beautiful score. Blending smart science fiction and action with philosophical themes about mankind's place in the universe, this is a vastly underappreciated picture. Mission to Mars is a poignant and exciting journey into the unknown. I thought it was great. Next up, my thoughts on Red Planet. This $80 million sci-fi thriller was a huge flop when it premiered in November of 2000, earning back only $33 million at the box office. There are three big reasons for that. Mission to Mars came out earlier in the year and was much more realistic. Prior to this picture, Anthony Hoffman only had experience with television commercials. He had never directed another movie before or since. And three, the PG-rated story is a total mess of borrowed concepts. A group of bickering astronauts travel to the titular world in search of solutions to save a dying Earth, only to find themselves marooned on the barren planet when the mission suffers catastrophic failure. This causes one astronaut to sarcastically remark, "We just disappointed 10 billion people, not counting the ex-wives." The 106-minute film features Val Kilmer as a self-proclaimed space janitor, Carrie-Anne Moss as the team leader who provides some shameless partial nudity, Tom Sizemore as a loudmouth, Benjamin Bratt as an unfeeling lieutenant, and Terrence Stamp as the older, wiser member of the team. This cast of otherwise capable B-listers just aren't a great fit for the material, or even each other. In fact, Kilmer and Sizemore hated each other so much during production, many of their scenes were completed with body doubles, as they refused to work together. Infighting aside, none have any real experience leading a big, high-concept picture like this. Well, except for Kilmer, but let's be honest, Batman Forever hardly qualifies as experience for anything.
I'm sorry. Launch release system not responding.
Okay, guys. Listen up. The MEV's not supplying power to the launch release system. I'm gonna have to stay back and arm it manually.
Commander, with all due respect, we're not leaving without you.
Hey, it's not up for debate.
Cut the auto-guidance system and try to reboot the arm.
No, we don't have time. Santon, you're in charge. I hope you like the saddle. Lock it up, gentlemen.
Lieutenant Santon, MEV launch systems ready. Launch on your command.
Crew secure.
Secure. Secure. Secure. Secure.
An obvious holdover from the 90s action movie era, there's pointless and unmotivated strobe lights and fog machines during the spacecraft's initial liftoff. I see no logical reason why the brave astronauts would want the sensation of visiting a cheap haunted house exhibit the moment before their most dangerous endeavor of their lives. But whatever. As if their razor-thin margin for survival wasn't exciting enough, the movie completely jumps the shark when a killer robot begins stalking them around the deserts of Mars. The movie does get credit for a realistic and pretty exciting zero-gravity fire sequence, though. And glimpses of their flexible, transparent iPad-like scrolls is a really neat bit of future tech. A good portion of the exteriors were filmed in Wadi Rum, Jordan, which apparently is doubled for the Red Planet in almost every Mars-based picture. As absurd as the story is, the picture functions well on a technical level. The editing, visual effects, and pacing are all above average, but unlikable characters, stupid developments, and familiar tropes sink this picture before liftoff. Nothing is downright awful, though, even if everything here is accomplished more successfully in other films. Possibly worth seeing once for fans of survival-themed space movies, Red Planet is a darker, less satisfying version of familiar ideas. But it's an alright movie. Finally, my review of The Martian. Produced on a budget of $108 million and released nationwide on October 2nd, this sci-fi picture is a triumphant return to form for director Ridley Scott. Well known for classics like Alien, Blade Runner, Gladiator, and Black Hawk Down, I dare say this PG-13 rated film is his best yet. Based on Andy Weir's 2011 novel of the same name, Matt Damon stars as an astronaut who is incorrectly presumed dead and left behind on Mars, forced to survive by himself for over a year until a rescue team can arrive. As expected, Damon is absolutely perfect in the lead role, commanding the attention and empathy from the audience, thanks to his optimistic attitude and determination. Against impossible odds, he remains hopeful when declaring quietly to himself, "I'm not gonna die here." Feeling a bit like Robinson Crusoe, watching this astrobotanist literally colonize the Martian soil so he can grow enough food to stay alive is a wonderful thing to witness.
Martinez, how long before takeoff?
12 minutes.
Visibility is almost zero. Anyone gets lost, hone into my suit's telemetry. You ready?
Ready!
Commander, are you okay?
I'm okay!
Hey! We might be able to keep the map from tipping! Watch out!
Despite its lengthy 141-minute runtime, the high-concept story about survival and perseverance remains positively captivating throughout. Especially an unflinching scene early when Damon performs surgery on himself to fish shrapnel out of his abdomen. Scott and Damon reportedly drew inspiration from the mountain climbing documentary Touching the Void as well. As daunting as his situation is, it's also a bit limited from a storytelling perspective. Thankfully, there's a parallel narrative back on Earth dealing with the pragmatic politics of NASA and how best to handle a risky rescue situation. It's here where the talented supporting cast truly shines. Jessica Chastain, Jeff Daniels, Michael Pena, Kate Mara, Sean Bean, Chiwetel Ejiofor, and even Kristen Wiig all do excellent work. Daniels and Ejiofor are especially great, sparring against each other with differing opinions on how to save their lost astronaut. An upbeat montage set to David Bowie's Starman showing NASA's plan coming together is a real highlight. The movie, rather amusingly, also incorporates a good deal of in-universe disco music into the soundtrack. It's this lighter tone, coupled with Damon's sarcastic wit and humor, that make The Martian such a fun and rewatchable film, especially when he resolves to science the shit out of this. But Scott doesn't dumb down the narrative either, showing complex mathematics, hex code-based communication, and plenty of equations on thrust and velocity. This is an idealistic vision of an unspecified future that respects and utilizes hard science instead of marginalizing it. This technical accuracy also serves as a wonderful advertisement for the continuation of manned spaceflight. Plus, it goes hand in hand with the flawless visuals, which expertly blend CGI, mammoth soundstage sets, and a Jordanian desert to faithfully recreate the surface of Mars. Other sequences in the vastness of space and onboard the Ares rocket are handled just as effortlessly. Combining the isolated elements of Castaway with the improvisational problem-solving of Apollo 13 and the visual action of Gravity, this picture is a true classic. Speaking of Gravity, for the third year in a row we've been treated to an absolutely excellent space survival movie. A respectful and satisfying drama, this is a true high-water mark for modern science fiction and a completely engaging experience. Crowd-pleasing from start to finish, and easily one of 2015's best, The Martian is a brilliant masterwork showing man's incredible capacity for survival. I thought it was an amazing movie. That does it for tonight's episode, but here's what we'll be discussing in a couple weeks if you'd like to leave a comment review. And if you click this information icon, some related videos will slide out for you to watch. Once again, my name is Jonathan Paula, thanks for watching, and have a good movie night.